Here, I'm gonna tell you the story of my writing adventure that's begun years ago, in time where I was in secondary school, in 1990s. I didn't know anything in English. Well, not so much. Since I was 15, I dreamt to be a good writer or novelist, since I saw Jurassic Park in 1994 at school. But in those years, I was so capricious or temperamental young teen, because I could only writing in French. I was so sassy to harass my mother to find someone who could translate my books. I had a very bad syntax and an ugly writing. My descriptions were static, lacking, and my paragraphs so thick. When I heard the word syntax for the first time, I said, "What the hell is that weird word? What it's eating in winter?" I sniggered bitterly. My family explained to me it was a sentence's structure. Continuation on the next video. After my family and friends explained me what was the syntax and read my writing, the pages I'd done, they told me that my syntax and my narration were disputable. I didn't like it all. I took these words as a serious hindrance to my attempt to become a writer. I refused to operate changes in my texts. I considered them as a success. I even threw tantrums, wanting things in my attempts be so easy and without any efforts. I wanted to be famous right away. No time for changes in my texts. Fame right now, that's how I was and saw the process. No efforts, no hard work, I wanted overnight success. Result: I abandoned my first novel I wrote then, Double Pop, in 1997. I'd stolen texts, lines and ideas from other authors. So, my family and friends didn't stop telling me my novel was a waste and desperate. Yes, my first novel was a failure, but I refused to admit that it was my fault, that it is because my syntax and my narration were real shit. I'd rather put this unsuccess on my family and friends' fault. I refused to improve my syntax, still thinking it was correct and adequate. Inside, I was raging and tempesting that writing a novel should be easy. Therefore, when I started my second novel, Death's Crater, I still wanted an overnight success, to be a famous writer as quick as possible. I thought my storytelling improved, and that's it. I could publish this book once finished. But no, once again, I took lines, stories and ideas from famous authors and from movies. It's during this novel writing I've begun to learn English by myself. Alone. I already was beginning working my English before starting writing novels. I was trying writing songs with an old-fashioned English-French-English dictionary. But my English was very puny and pathetic. It's my second book, Death Crater, that helped me to improve this language. I improved myself, but I had a long way to do yet. I thought this time again that this attempt was the right one, that my novel could be published then. But for my family and friends, even into that field, I had a long road to cover. My syntax was pitiful yet. These remarks still mortified me. This desire for overnight success haunted me since I'd begun and for long again. I was an incorrigible dreamer who attempted to start a career that requires so much. A career that I wanted to get at any cost. Because of that, I abandoned this second novel. It is during the writing of my third novel, Titanic, Lost Hearts in Atlantic, that I began to really see an improvement in my novel composition. But it was completely in French, a language that's not pretty known worldwide. And again, my syntax and my English were yet to be improved, so my talent of writer. I've started this novel in 2000. It's during its writing, in September 11, 2001, this great tragedy in the United States that shook the world happened. From that year, fear and anguish were spread throughout the world, because the terrorists talked about threatening launching biochemical and biopathogenic weapons on the world. Our biggest fear was that one of them unleashes the Ebola virus. As James Cameron had already made a movie on the shipwreck of the Titanic, I was happy to abandon my novel. I've done well leaving it at end of 2001. Even during the drafting of my third novel, I still refused to improve my writing skill. Syntax, narration, and structure, still wanting immediate success. I was going fast, writing fast. I was hurried to finish it, to reach fame and success overnight. A night, I even dreamt that my novel, Titanic, Lost Hearts in Atlantic, was finished, published, and a great success. But it was only a dream. Some months later, November 2001, I willingly but painfully abandoned that novel. James Cameron had already made a movie on the Titanic. Why should I write a novel on this maritime tragedy? Isn't it enough, a movie? There had been already books written by some survivors of the shipwreck. Not novels, but testimonies of that tragedy. A novel would be too much. Six years later, at spring of 2007, I started a new story, this time a script or screenplay. Yes, I was so urged to start a movie, a science fiction titled Black Shock. Everything's begun when, Tuesday evening, I was waiting for someone for a meeting. I was watching electric wires that run alongside the street. I imagined that, on these lines, there was electric aura, not usual phenomenon occurring. This aura was from Alien Secret Invasion. There was the beginning of a story, the first entirely written in English. It's the story of alien invasion and attack. Then, as the writing progressed, it became a novel. I succeeded writing a trilogy with the screenplay, but I decided to continue writing novels. It lasted 6 long years. It was there I decided to improve my syntax and my storylines. Like for the beginning of the writing, the story of Black Shock begins in 2007, in September. September 6, 2007, to be precise. My deep inspiration was the events occurred in September 11, 2001 and other occurrences or tragedies recently happened in the human history. The fear, destructions and terror that the aliens of Black Shock spread over and over along the story were inspired on real-life dramas and tragedies from which the humans emerged, from disasters, shaken and changed. The events took place at the beginning in New York, USA. Then, in the story the characters evolved and undergo heart-wrenching losses and else. Unfortunately, the screenplays and novels were abandoned in May 2013 for personal reasons. But my story doesn't stop there. Despite my failures and the frustrations they triggered within, I kept hope that I could succeed one day. But I had a long way to go before to achieve my first book, syntax and narration improvement yet. Just that idea repulsed me, I just wasn't urged to do so. But by refusing these improvements and evolutions, I repelled my real progressions, so I was hurting myself. Because every failure enraged me and I never succeeded. The syntax should have been my main concern. With narration, of course, I only wrote the action and too few indications on my characters, only their names and vague feelings or thoughts. I neglected important things about their surroundings, the time of day and the weather. If the characters were inside a building, a house for example, was the room enlightened or dark? Were there rays of sunlight that filter through windows? Or was it at night, the moon glitter? All these important things. If I was lacking of syntax and sufficient descriptions, maybe it was because I was lacking of passion, motivation, and personal inspirations. I copied my favorite scenes of movies or sentences of famous novelists. I was writing without enough self-confidence and unable to create my own story. Yet, that was an important piece of the puzzle, of the writing sessions. I really wanted to be a good, or real writer, but I thought it was easier than cycling or saying, hello. But, no, in that time, I wasn't aware of the copyrighted system. I thought I would copy others without any problem and become famous. But this has never been the case. If you plagiarize, you're gonna be in serious trouble. Unless you do a written request to a copyright owner to say which part of the novel you want to take. A sentence, a paragraph, or a chapter. You won't ever have the authorization to get a whole novel. It cannot be. The same year, 2013, I started my 5th novel, in August, Scales of Steel. It's a story with dragons that happened in 2180 BCE in Akkad. Its main character was Argo Thal, a king of Akkad. It happened 175 years after the flood, but the story was full of immoral scenes and violence. The land of Mesopotamia, the cradle of humanity, was attacked by a bunch of giant dragons. The second novel completely in English. I saw in my English a marked improvement, like in the narration and my syntax. But not enough to be credible yet. In that novel, I really tried to make my own story and to do it with passion and motivation. The improvement gave me this motivation. The descriptions were somewhat less static and the paragraphs somewhat less long. I was already proud of myself and it encouraged me to keep going. My 5th novel, Scales of Steel, was, in this story of my writing journey, the last attempt I did. Not definitely though. My writing skill although had improved. I loved Argo Thal, the dragons and the other characters of the story. The writing was spread out over 3 years, but, with the passing of time, my motivation dwindled and my awareness of the sexual immorality and violence disgusted me. I wanted writing a novel, but not with these ugly scenes and half nudities. So, I ought to abandon it in 2016. What a sadness, a so nice improvement in my syntax and the narration. Now, it's gone, like the others. But from then, I knew what I had to improve. I accepted to change my mindset and my writing skills. Clearly, it is no picnic writing a book. Not easy at all. Retrospectively, after many tries and mistakes, precious life lessons or experience lessons, I've learned that instant success or fame doesn't exist. Especially in novelism, if there are some among you that think that it can be instantly done or super easy should revise their thoughts. I experienced this difficulty. I know what I'm talking about. July 17, 2022, I began to write my current novel, The Chronicles of Jasphakham, which you know some texts from. You know some details of it already, don't you? I really hope this try is the good one, after everything I've learned from the mistakes I've made and the wrong mindset I had. But we'd never finish learning and improving our syntax and narrative compositions, would we? Never. Like the languages throughout the world, the syntax evolves. So we have to continuously working on it. Yes, as I told you, the languages in the world evolves, and the syntax must follow this progression. Even if I succeeded in that book, I will have to work on it again in the next one again and again. My writing skills improvement will never end, for no one who wants to write and publish a book and succeed as a writer. I need to write my novel while being aware of this important fact. Yes, the writing of a novel always comes to an end. We cannot drag on to it either, true. But we're gonna have to improve the syntax. You better be prepared to the difficulties novelism represents. The Chronicles of Jasphakham will be written by myself with this pattern. Don't be afraid of failures. It is part of the writing. Always take the failures, not as hindrances or an end, but as precious lessons and learnings. You will fail and you will fall, but you can carry on.